Ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome to our live broadcast today, coming from the home of Erin Gaels Belleek for this Senior Football League Division 1 game between Erne Gaels Belleek and Ederney St Joseph's. This is our final round of fixtures before our Senior Football Championship, which will be taking place in 2 weeks' time. We have a free week next weekend, and this is our final game. As the broadcast goes ahead, we will have a chance to go through some of the score lines from some of the games that have been played today. But in this couple of minutes, just before referee Nigel Sweeney throws the ball in, is going to give us a quick chance to go through the teams. We'll start with the home team, which is Erne Gaels. In goals, they have Brian Ryder, a full back line of Páirc Johnson, Paul Ward, and Colin Keown. Half back line, Shane Mimna, Derek Keown and Ben McCann. In the centre of the field they have Michael McGarrigle and Barry McCann, with a half forward line of Martin Gilfeder, Oisin Kelm and Oren Johnson is lining out at half forward. Full forward Shane Rooney, Seamus Ryder and Michael hÉirne. And with that, referee Nigel Sweeney throws the ball in, and Barry McCann has won that. As I look at this, Erne Gaels are playing from my left to me right. That ball from Barry McCann was broke out by the centre half back from Ederney, Finbar Gillen. Now it's in the hands of Marty McGrath, and he feeds his midfield colleague, who is Oren McKee, looking for support here now from his corner back, who's Paul Maguire. And Ederney are on the march here. There's 2, 3, 4, 5 players moving forward. That was a hard tackle on Oren McKee, but he's able to hold on to the ball, plays it back. Belleek are starting to move back into their own half. There's 3 players, Ederney in a row. Marty McGrath's going to kick that ball in, but breakdown in communication. That's broken out by the wing half back, who is Ben McCann. Now he's got plenty of support. He's got his centre half forward colleague, who's Oisin Kelm. Breaks the first tackle, gives it back to Ben McCann, who won that ball, takes a solo, gives it back to Kelm. Only on the inside forward line they've got Seamus Ryder. They didn't try the high ball in that stage, but I'm sure at some stage in this game we're going to see that happening. Now Barry McCann looking to break inside the 45 metre line, soloing and bouncing. There's 3 Ederney players making a wall around him. Now Barry lines up a shot, gives it plenty of height, but it's not going to go over the bar, and that's the first wide of the game. It's fair to say the conditions, there's no breeze so far. It was a bit warmer earlier on. It's got a bit cooler now, with the sky is starting to grey over, but as the game goes we'll see how that plays out. Ederney kick out now on the far side of the field. It's their centre half back, who is Finbar Gillen, keeping that ball in, breaks through his initial tackle, left footed shot, bouncing ball in there to Enda Farris, who catches it in front of him. He's come outside from the full forward line, that leaves no one in beside, so he's going to have to look for a bit of support. Now it's in the hands of Finbar Gillen, who started that entire move. Now it's back to Mark McCauley, takes that ball, bounces in front of him, and he free shots it. It's going very high, but I think that ball ended up going wide. So a wide apiece for both the teams in the first couple of minutes. Ederney laying out with Chris Snow in goals, a full back line of Enda Cassidy, Michael Maguire and Paul Maguire. Wing half backs Luke Harn, Finbar Gillen and Jacob Britton. In the midfield, Marty McGrath, Oren McGee, Paul McKervey, Mark McCauley and Conor McGee, and a full forward line of Ryan Morris, Enda Ferris and Declan Deasley. From that resulting kick out, Belleek were able to get possession, and now it's been broken down. It's over there in the hands of their centre half forward, Oisin Kelm. He's got his hands on the ball a couple of times so far in this game. He's soloing through, skirting around the outside. Shane really providing a nice run, but Oisin Kelm's got rightly, he was held up to his midfield colleague. Plenty of strong runs so far in this game. It's fair to say that's their centre half forward, Mark McCauley, who turns his man on the left foot, gives breaks inside the 45 metre line. That dink ball to their corner forward Ryan Morris takes a sort of a no-look shot over his shoulder. He was trying to find Mark McCauley again, but that has not worked out, and that's gone out for a line ball for Belleek on that far side of the field. As I said, referee Nigel Sweeney from Belleek is bringing us through the action this evening, and this has been brought to you live on Fermanagh GAA TV. Big welcome to our subscribers who join us every week, and we hope to have your company for the next hour or so. Belleek are on the attack here now, and that ball from Oisin Kelm, that's the first ball into the Belleek forward line. Chris Snow had it, but it bounced out of his hands, and Seamus Ryder's in there, flips it to Shane Rooney. Shane Rooney on the right foot kept that over the bar, and that's the first score of the half. We were talking about the high ball in there, and in that instance Chris Snow wasn't able to deal with it. It come out, and Seamus Ryder tapped it to his corner forward colleague, who was Shane Rooney, who put that over the bar for the first score of the game, which, as we said, is 1 point to Erne Gaels Belleek. Goalkeeper Chris Snow lining up this kick out here. As I look in front of me, he's going to go long because all the players have moved out to midfield. That's a high tackle ball, and Barry McCann catches that, wins his mark, taps it now to Shane Mimna. Good to see Shane Mimna back. He hadn't been there for the last couple of weeks. Shane Rooney making a rake for him, and he was under severe pressure in there, but he gets it, gets up again, and continues to burrow on, and he's won his free on the 45-metre line. Going to suit the left-footed kicker. He was looking for the quick free into Seamus Ryder, but decided against it. Goes for the give and go. Got his pass off, but wasn't able to pick it up again. And that has led to a breakdown in the Belleek attack. And now Ederney are breaking out, but there was a loose pass picked up by Páirc Johnson, who gives it to his wing half-back colleague, who was Ben McCann, on the right foot, giving that plenty of air, but that has gone wide again. So that's the second wide for Erne Gaels Belleek in this last couple of minutes. Short kick out from Chris Snow. That was because the centre half-back Finbar Gillen made himself available, and he dinks the ball along right in front of us in this line. And it's Declan Daisy who's going forward. He's got support. He's got Conor McGee in there. This is a 3-on-2 situation. That's the number 12. Conor McGee gives it back to Daisy. Great forward in the half. Gives it over to Ende Ferris. Not first in the field. Dinks it, left-footed shot, and it's into the net. That was a great goal from Ederney. Won the ball. Started from the short kick out from Chris Snow, who found centre half-back Finbar Gill, and dinked the ball up along this sideline, and using the runners that were coming through, Ederney were able to pass that ball across the goal to Ende Ferris, who sidestepped the goalkeeper and with the left foot found the net. 1 goal to a point. Kick out from Brian Ryder. Now it's been won by Michael McGarrett, gives it to Shane Mimna, who's breaking forward at speed. He's got 2 players in support of him, turns back inside looking for a bit of support. He's got Barry McCann in there. McCann was lining up for a shot, decides against it, turns back, and now he's got his midfield colleague Michael McGarrigle, and on that far side of the field Belleek are playing with the ball. They have Seamus Riders come out to the high ball. It's not available. Shane Rooney was calling for it, and in the mix up there, Ederney were able to get a hand in, and they're on the counter attack. Conor McGee and Ende Ferris on that far side of the field. Ferris gives it nicely to his wing forward, who's running on forward, and Conor McGee's over there on that far side of the field. Finbar Gillen's on this side, but he's breaking forward. He's got a chance. Fits it over the side of the goal. Gillen puts it back, and now it's the centre half forward, who is Mark Macaulay, on the left foot, was taking a shot there, and that has gone wide. A carbon copy really of the marked as a point. That has been marked as a point for Ederney, and it's going down into Nigel Sweeney's notebook as 1. So that brings our scoreline to 1-1 to a point as we approach 5 minutes played. Goalkeeper Brian Ryder with the left foot striking that ball nicely over, and it was picked up by number 10, who is Martin Gilfeder. Gives it to his midfield colleague Michael McGarrigle, and now Shane Mimna's breaking through as well. Belleek are putting in strong runs in this first half, but as I say, that Mimna's been held up by Oren McGee in the midfield zone. Wins his free, gives it to Shane Rooney's hands now, and now we have got Oren Johnson going forward. He takes a shot with his left foot along the ground, low shot across the goalkeeper, and that ball ended up going wide. So plenty of action in the first couple of minutes of this match. I'm sure goalkeeper Chris Snow was glad to see that ball going wide, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he had his angles covered. Kick out here going short again, so Ederney seem to be utilising the short kick out. They had great success the last time they did and were able to get their goal from it. That was full-back Michael Maguire, who was breaking forward. The problem with short kick outs is if you can't get the ball away quickly, you end up with playing a lot of ball in your own defensive line, but Ederney have managed to get it away, and Finbar Gillen puts a lovely ball up this side of the field, and that's the number 10, Paul McCarvey, who has a chance. He's going inside. He's got a colleague from the forward line in there. That shot was from Ryan Morrison. It was blocked down by Colm Keown, blocked down fierce well, but it's been picked up by the Ederney forwards again, and as we see here now, the pressure's come in, and that has forced Ederney over the line, and it's a Belleek ball, sideline ball to Belleek. Barry McCann, lovely fist back to Michael McGarrigle, who's looking for the high ball in there. Seamus Ryder no doubt going to get that ball, going over the head of him. It's going to be a pace race here with the fullback Michael Maguire, and it looks as if Ryder has kept that ball in. He's got support in there. He's got his 2 full forward colleagues, and he gives it back to Shane Rooney on the left foot, who spins around, puts that over the bar, and that brings our scoreline 1-1 to 2 points. Double scores in this half. So Shane Rooney with a lovely shot from the left foot. That ball was kept in well by Seamus Ryder, gives it back to Shane Rooney, and that led to the second point of the match for Erin Gaels Belleek. Chris Snow going short again, and that was into the midfielder Oren McGee, who caught that ball. Now he gives it to Marty McGrath, who's bombing along this side of the field, and it's been given in to Ende Ferris, but it was cut out by Paul Ward. Gives it to Shane Mimna. He had support there, but Mimna holds on to it. Erin Gaels are breaking forward in a wave here now. We've got Martin Gilfetter, gives it back to the full back Paul Ward. Won the initial ball, now he's breaking out, gives a fist pass ball to Shane Rooney, goes to ground but gets a wonderful pass off to Ward. Martin Gilfetter going through here now with a goal, with a second goal. That was a wonderful move. Started off by Paul Ward intercepting a ball that was going to Ende Ferris. He went up the field, he kept on going like a horse on a gallop, was able to pass the ball to Martin Gilfetter, who finished it to the net. Great to see the fullbacks going forward. Maybe he didn't want to take the shot on himself, but he had support, and that brings our scoreline 1-2 to 1-1, and we have only about 10 minutes played in the first half. Very competitive match here, and that kick out was won by number 12 on the Belleek team, who's Conor McGee. Takes his mark, spreads the play to the far side of the field. That's Mark Macaulay, who had to pick the ball up there, gives it to Ryan Morris. Great interception of the hands with a left footed shot, going to go in very high here. Now that looks like it's going to go over the bar. Brings us to a level game, 1-2 points, 1-2 apiece for both teams with 10 minutes played, and both teams are going to be very happy with their start, because this, as we said, is our last game before the break in the league and the championship. So this is your final chance to impress upon the management teams and to hone your skills before we have our championship. That was Brian Ryder with kick out to Barry McCann. Fielded it well, had the mark, didn't decide to take it, gives it to Páirc Johnson, who is going forward here now. Looks like he's going to want it on the left foot, takes that on the left foot, and that has gone over the bar. That was number 15, that was number 17, Páirc Johnson, who got that over the bar, and that brings our scoreline 1-3 to 1-2. Plenty of action so far. Now, gives us a chance to draw breath. We're going to have our water break coming soon. That's Chris Snow going long this time. He's 2v1, but that the one was a foul to have. The one was adjudged to have fouled the two. Referee Nigel Sweeney given that as a free to Belleek for a possible infringement, more than likely a push in the back, and Belleek are on the march against their midfielder Michael McGarrigle, who gives it to Shane Rooney. Maybe a higher ball than Rooney would have wanted, but he's able to break it down to himself, pick it up into his hands, takes the left footed shot and puts it over the bar. That was a wonderful score from Shane Rooney. He had plenty of players around him. He was able to break it down into his own hands, give it turn onto the left foot, get that ball up and over the bar. 1-4 to 1-2 from that free. So Chris Snow's long kick out in that instance did not work. He had been going short before that, but it will be interesting to see what he does with his next kicks. He's going long again, tries to pick his trying to keep it away from Barry McCann, but it's really done the exact opposite, because Barry McCann was able to figure that out, breaks it down, and now seems to be a mix up there, because Ederney have the ball. That was number 7, who is Jacob Britton, putting a strong tackle into Shane Rooney, and Shane Rooney's down on his knees, catching his breath a bit as Britton goes forward right, putting lovely ball into Ende Ferris, who releases Paul McKervey, and Paul McKervey has got his corner forward colleague in there, who's Ryan Morris, gives it back to Ferris. Ferris is breaking forward. He put the ball into the height, and that ball has been broken down, and it was the corner forward. It was the corner forward, Michael hÉirne, who was able to pick that up, and now Belleek are on the march again. Gives us a chance to mention our sponsors of this game. This broadcast was sponsored by Monaghan Brothers, and the sponsorship of our league, of the Senior Football League Division 1 this year, is from ETC Biomed. So we in Fermanagh GAA are very glad for all our sponsors for the support they give us and enable us to bring our Gaelic games to you. As the play goes ahead, Shane Rooney was dispossessed there. Now we have got that is number 15, who is number 15 from Ederney, who was on the attack. That was Declan Deasy, but it's broken out, and Michael McGarrigle gives it in to Seamus Ryder. Bit of holding going on in there, and that referee Nigel Sweeney has adjudged that Michael Maguire was holding on to Seamus Ryder, gives a free in. It's about it's about 10 metres outside the 21 metre line, going to suit the right footed kicker. And I see referee Nigel Sweeney just taking a note. It's one of those tickings for Michael Maguire, so I presume if he gets wrapped up in any of those tackles, he's going to see a card from the referee, and this is going to give a chance for Barry McCann on the right foot. I see him over there. There's looking at the flags, there's not that much breeze, but Belleek have been very efficient with their score so far. Barry McCann from the hands, one bounce, two steps up, gives it plenty of height, and that's gone over the bar. A scoreline of 1-5 to 1-2 in our first half. Ederney starting to come under pressure here now. They had got their feet, they were going rightly when they had their goal, but now they're starting to come under the cosh a bit. So I would think goalkeeper Chris Snow, we've taken our water break here now, so that leaves us at about 17 minutes played in the first half. Goalkeeper Chris Snow, I'm sure, would like to win his own kick out, get his kick out one to relieve the pressure, because Ederney have been under some pressure in this last while. I've had the opportunity to see Erin Gaels for the past couple of weeks. We saw them playing against Derrygonnelly in Derrygonnelly in a game that they lost but were reasonably competitive in. Last week I saw a very strong Erin Gaels team play in Rosslea in a game that ended up as a draw in Rosslea, and so far so good. With 15 minutes played in this game, Erin Gaels are winning 1-5 to 1-2, a 3-point lead for the home team, and I'm sure they'll be reasonably happy with that play. Back on air here on Fermanagh GEA TV. This broadcast has been sponsored by Monaghan Brothers, and we also must mention the sponsors for the Senior Football League this year, and this is ETC Biomed. At the end of the first half water break, the scoreline 1-5 to 1-2. This game has been coming live from the home of Erin Gaels Belleek. They've got a 3-point lead, so we'll see if they can keep up their aggression in this first half. Chris Snow was looking to take that short, had to turn on his heels and go back again. He's going long. Marty McGrath's there, tries to flick the ball on it. It just went over the head of Marty McGrath, and he wasn't able to connect with it, and that has led to Erin Gaels being able to break the ball down. They have a lovely ball inside to their corner back, who's Páirc Johnson. Looks like he's going to float a high ball in. Seamus Ryder sitting there on the edge of the square. He's able to break it out himself and gives it over to his colleague, who was his colleague over there was number 10 Martin Gilfetter, who puts that ball over the bar, and Erin Gaels picking up where they left on. That was the first time we've seen a high ball going into Seamus Ryder on the edge of the square. Goal or full back Michael McGrath. It's very hard. I've seen them trying to mark Seamus Ryder. It's very hard. If you're out in front, he'll win it over the head of you. If you're behind, you haven't a chance at all. But Seamus Ryder was able to use his physique in there to win that ball and pass it off to his colleague, who got the point. So warning for the teams as we go into the championship, that a full forward who's able to win the ball is hard to beat. That was a ball inside to number 13. Now it's given to Martin McGrath, who's bursting forward. He's got a support collar over there, who's Conor McGee. Conor McGee turns back inside, gives it to McGrath. McGrath going to spread it over the bar, and that leaves us with another point for Ederney, 1-6 to 1-3. So as I was talking there, what we seen was a ball that come to number 13, who is Ryan Morris. Morris had his mark, decided to play on, jinked the ball over to Marty McGrath, who was going forward, give it to Conor McGee. Conor McGee turned back inside, wasn't going to get a clear shot away, so give it back to McGrath, and McGrath put that ball over the bar. From the resultant kick out, it's number 9, Erin McGee, who goes to ground to try and pick that up. I think he maybe might have tripped number 10 from Belleek there, who is Martin Gilfedder, and Martin Gilfedder wins his free. That was taken by the full back, who's Paul Ward, gives it to his goalkeeper, Brian Ryder, and now it's over here into the hands of the number 2, who is Páirc Johnson. Páirc Johnson with Oran Johnson in support, and goal and full back Paul Ward. Last time Paul Ward went on a foray up the field, Belleek were able to get a goal, so we'll see how that goes again. He's started to turn back again, and it's still in the hands of Páirc Johnson, who was fouled there. Referee Nigel Sweeney blowing for an infringement. I see Seamus Ryder had his hand up. He was calling for the first time ball, not going to come to him though, because it's come to Michael Logue McGarrigle looking for support. There's Paul Ward again, gives it to his midfield, or his centre half forward to the bar. 1-7 to 1-3, a 4-point lead for Belleek, and they're clicking well inside on that forward line, because Seamus Ryder was calling for the ball, he didn't get it. Belleek were able to play outside around the 45 metre line and get that shot over the bar. They've been very, very accurate so far, so certainly will be happy with that. From the kick out, we have a bit of a rustle over there. Now it's been picked up. Barry McCann, I think, was the last man out of that ruck with the ball, and he gives it to his colleague, who is Michael Logue McGarrigle. McGarrigle was robustly challenged by Conor McGee, and referee Nigel Sweeney has blown the free for McGarrigle. Gives it now to Ben McCann. Ben McCann with plenty of room here now. He's got 3 players in support. Gives it to his mid centre half forward colleague, who's Oisin Kelm, turning back to number 10, Martin Gilfedder. Martin Gilfedder with the wild looking shot. That ball is it's not gonna go wide, because Seamus Ryder's over there. He breaks it down, but Ederney are more in tune here now, because they've got that ball broken down. It's into Finbar Gillen, and Finbar Gillen into their corner. They're going to try and break out here now. That was a loose pass, but they have it back again, and now onto the far side of the field, Chris Snow with plenty of room to move forward. Chris Snow is well known for a goalkeeper who takes forays out the field. He gives it to Marty McGrath, and Marty McGrath gives it to number 15, Declan Deasy. Looking a high ball into end of first. There's danger here, because Paul Ward isn't able to catch that. End of first breaks it down. He's got a shot, and it's into the net. That is another goal for Ederney. 1-7 to 2-3. We really are been treated to a fine spectacle in this first half. With 19 minutes played, we have got 8 and 5 is 13 scores, 3 goals and 10 points. We certainly can't complain, and hopefully you at home, the public who are watching this on Fermanagh GAA, are enjoying this spectacle of football. Goalkeeper Brian Ryder gives that. Now it's over there into the hands of Colm Keown, and Colm Keown gives it to Martin Gilfedder. I suppose the learning point for Belleek from that was Ende Ferris was isolated inside with the full back, and he was able to win that ball, push the full back. He was able to nudge the full back out of the road, had an open shot, and from that sort of distance I don't think Ende Ferris is going to miss. And just as I see here, what we can see is that Dara Keown, who is a centre half back, has moved over there onto Ende Ferris, and they're also dropping Shane Mimna back, so that leaves 2 players, 2 immediate opponents for Ende Ferris in that house. There's a shot from number 5 from Ederney, who is Luke Harn, and that ball has gone wide. So that's the first thing that we can pick up from in this half, that Belleek are starting to drop 2 players onto Ende Ferris. So Ferris is going to have plenty of company in there if he's looking to win the ball. Goalkeeper Brian Ryder with a nice chipped kick out there to Shane Mimna, who gives it to his centre half back colleague, and that is Dara Keown, and Dara Keown's breaking forward. He has got into the hands of number 17, who's Páirc Johnson, and Johnson with a high ball that looks like it's going into Seamus Ryder. He's got 2 players in to mark him as well, breaks it down to himself, does very well, looks like he's going to spin it onto the right foot, gives it plenty of height, but immediately once that left his boot, you could see the umpire signalling that ball as going wide, and that leaves the scoreline. It remains at 1-7 with which is 10.23, which is 9, with just approaching 21 and a half minutes played in this first half. So Chris Snow sets himself up for the kick out. He's had a mixture of short and long. This one looks like it's going to go long. It's onto that far side of the field. Conor McGee's over there. Sheehan Mimmin was trying to put support on him, but McGee catches that very well, takes his mark and puts a lovely ball which is releasing Jacob Britton, who's away on a race. He's away on a hack. He's starting to break inside the 21. McKeown can't hack him. He's got in front of the goal. He's going to go for a goal again. It was blocked now there from Paul. That was blocked from the corner back, who was Colm Keown. So there's definitely a goal saving a goal saving interception, and that ball came out there to Martin McGrath, who puts it over the bar. So it's fair to say, with 22 minutes played in this first half, we have had 3 goal chances for Ederney, 2 of them taken. It come from the kick out that was won by Conor McGee on the far side of the field. Jacob Britton ran around him with plenty of room. There was no one. The half forwards had moved out to leave Jacob Britton with that chance. He runs straight towards the Erne Gaels goal, got the ball past the goalkeeper Brian Ryder, but cornerback Colm Keown was able to get his body, his leg, anything at all in there to block that. From the resulting kick out, number 9, Oran McGee, was able to pick that ball up, and here we go. It's into Enda Ferris again. Danger here because he gives it to Mark McCauley. McCauley's bearing down a goal. He got another chance again. It's into the net. That is, so we have 2 chances for Ederney in 2 minutes. That's the second one taken. The scoreline now is 1-7 to 3-4. That leaves a 3-point lead for Ederney. We were talking earlier on about Enda Ferris, how there was 2 players in around, and there was no sign of it there, because Enda Ferris was able to catch the ball and release the runners. That was Mark McCauley, who was going through like a knife through butter. He went through the Belleek defence, and there was nothing to stop him, and when it come on to the one-on-one situation, he left goalkeeper Brian Ryder with absolutely no chance. So I would think that's something that Belleek are going to have to take a look at again, because their full back line has been exposed 3-4 occasions. That's really something that's going to have to be addressed as they go into the championship. Regarding the forward line, they're doing very well, because that was a ball for Shane Rooney, who it dropped in front of him, but he was able to get in underneath it. He was fouled, and now he's won a free. It's just outside the D. Rooney would look like he was going to take it himself, but Barry McCann has come over here, going to take the responsibility. He's going to take this off the ground on his right foot. It's 5 metres outside of the D towards the right hand side of the goal, so it's not really going to suit the right footed kicker. He's going to have to curl it back inside. He's going to slice it instead, and he sliced it too much, and that has gone wide. So the scoreline, with 25 minutes played in the first half, 1-7 to 3-4. Those 3 goals for Ederney, carbon copies of each other really, and the Ferris is causing a lot of hassle in there. I'm just looking up here on the kick out, and the Ferris has been immediately picked up by Dara Keown. It's a 2-man inside forward line. That leaves one of the corner forwards who must be moving forward, and we'll have to see what's happening there. But Belleek are on the attack here now. I suppose if you are behind, the best thing to do to get back into the game is to get some more scores. They were trying to do it there. That was full centre half forward Oisin Kelm who went for that, give it plenty of height, but it's gone wide. It was going wide. Chris Snow kept it in, and now he's breaking out, releasing Ederney onto the attack. They've done very well from the counter attack here. That's number 10 just in front of us, who is Paul McKervey. Gives it over to Martin McGrath in midfield. McGrath, who has directed a lot of the play for Ederney here, he's releasing a centre half back colleague Jacob Britton, who had that chance earlier on. Britton continues his run. He's going into space, and that was McGrath trying to find McKervey again, but McKervey, it went in between Paul McKervey and Mark McCauley. When it went to ground, there was a breakdown in communication. McCauley went to pick it up, and McKervey blocked off the Belleek defender. Referee Nigel Sweeney seen that. Quick as a flash, he's blown a free for Erin Gaels Belleek, and that free Ederney's half of the field, that's over there into the hands of number 15, who is Michael hÉirne, and Michael hÉirne gives it to Oisin Kelm. Belleek on a patient build up here. That's a dink ball into Shane Rooney, but the corner back done very well to get a hand in. Now it's been picked up by Erne and Ederney are on the counter attack again. They've got 4 players who are running forward. Páirc looks like they're going to carry it. The goals that was a vital interception from Barry McCann there, because Ederney had 4 players breaking forward. The goals were the two inside forwards had split to either side, leaving the goal area completely free with 2 Ederney players running in, but Barry McCann got his hand in, got that broke down, and now that has released Erin Gaels onto the attack. Martin Gilfeder was looking to get forward there, stripped out of his hands, and now Ederney are onto the attack again, so it's really attacking. If it's between attacks and counter-attacks. That ball was kicked over there to number 4, who is Paul Maguire. Paul Maguire, he's playing like a corner forward, gives it back to Jacob Britton. Britton looking for support here now. There's 3 Ederney players over there. They've plenty of time to get inside the Belleek 45 metre line. It's Andy Ferris. He's got Paul McKervey calling for the ball here now. Looked like he was going to give it, but he turns it back to number 13, who is Ryan Morris, and Ryan Morris giving that plenty of height, and that's gone over the bar. It's leaving the score line as we just take a check of the watch. 27.5 minutes. 3-8, which is 9 and 5 is 14, 1-7 is 10 points, 14-10, very high scoring. The wind is starting to pick up because I was just looking at the flags over there, and that wind is blowing with Ederney in this first half, so they're going to have to make hay there, and in making hay was Mark McCauley, who gives a wonderful ball inside to Ryan Marsh. Goal chance again, decides against it, puts it over the bar. He had Ende Ferris. If he had squared it across the goal, Ende Ferris was going to finish that, but certainly the Belleek defence, there's big holes back there. Ende Ferris and Ryan Morris were free in the inside the 13 metre lane. Morris had a chance to give it over to Ferris, but he opted against it. Took his point. 3-6 is 15 points, 1-7 is 10. 5 points between the teams. So Ryder with his short kick out this time to Colm Keown, and Colm Keown now gives it to Barry McCann, who's starting to break outside his own 45 metre line. He's got Dara Keown there as well. The Ederney players are starting to sink back. There's only 2 players free. One of them is Ende Ferris inside his own 45 metre line. Lovely ball from Jacob Britton. Ferris takes that mark because it was an attacking mark. The ball was kicked outside the 45. Ferris caught it. He looked to release Paul McKervey, but Paul McKervey, that was snuffed out from Barry McCann, and now Belleek are on to the attack. It is their centre half forward, who is Oisín Callum, and Oisín Callum now has given it over there to Michael hÉirne, and hÉirne, he's darting. It's not even Michael hÉirne, it's number 21 for Belleek, who was there. He's picked the ball up, and now it's been foul. Referee Nigel Sweeney blows his whistle. He's adjudged that to be a foul, and it's a free out for Ederney, and that ball now has come to Chris. Now Ederney are really looking to keep the pressure on. There's a half a minute to the break in this, there's a half a minute of regulation time left, so that is their wing half back, who was Luke Harn, who looks to give that to Ryan Marsh. Ryan Marsh is under pressure, but he's turning inside in the right foot, takes a lovely shot, a real good one. It was that was from his right foot. It was about 40 metres out, I would say, and that's gone over the bar. And certainly the scoreline reads 1-7 to 3-7, 16 to 10, 6 points. Those 2 goals separating the teams. Ederney have really been on the purple patch in the last couple of minutes, and as I said, those 2 goals and plenty of points has made a difference. Kick out from Brian Ryder. It wasn't making it going to his man, but referee Nigel Sweeney came to his aid because he's blown the half time whistle. Didn't play much additional time at the end of that there, but where would he have got it from? Because there was no injuries. A game that was played in good sporting game between the 2 teams, and the half time score reads 3-7 to Ederney, 1-7 Belleek.
The Grania, 81, starring Van je vier grim naar hier. Call the reef nach me in hart. Down a sam kabel der scale. Ach tam mer manakart. Dear she long gonna go satans. Dagen kiel revish. She master in the lurking out the war she tower in queen. So leg my seer on soon tire. Spawn and bow where is Kakarum. Ban and make can't scream amach mine. Give it to the so leg my seer on soon tire. Spawn and bow where is Kakarum. Ban and make can't scream amach mine. Give it to the Trauma is een wienerhol voor je. Geen mailer al in hij. We staan maar race als een mee onfold. Staan een mee eruit. Zo lig maar zeer on zo'n daar. Spannen boven is gekarum. Van een mee kan schrijven mag je mijn. Je weet zo daar in lang. Zo lig maar zeer on zo'n daar. Spannen boven is gekarum. Van een mee kan schrijven mag je mijn.
Now, Tamajarash for the second half. The players are going to take their positions, but in a couple of minutes in the meantime, this will give me a chance to go through the score lines of the other games in this final round of fixtures before our championship weekend, which is in 2 weeks from this evening. So we'll start off in Division 1, and in the game between Devonish and Tempo, the final score was Devonish 1-15, Tempo 2-9. Derry had a big win against Irvinstown, 5-19 to 5 points. Enniskillen followed up their victory against Devonish last week with a 2-11 to 10 point victory over Roslay. And in the game that was played on Friday evening, and that was to be heard live on Fermanagh TV, it finished Canolly 2-15, Belleek 13 points. In Division 2 today, Newtown Butler 1-7, Timor Shamrocks 3-9, Belleek 2-16, Ederney 1-12. Maguire's Bridge and Dona, Maguire's Bridge didn't play that game, and the other two games was Coe 2-8, Brookborough 1-8, and yesterday evening Skye 4-17, Derry Lynn 1-7. Now that ball was thrown in and the ball went wide, so it's been played on here because it's in the hands of Shane Mimner, who gives the ball to Michael McGarrigle, but that was tipped over from Conor McGee. McGarrigle tried to get it in, but it's gone out over the line just in front of us here, and that's going to be a sideline ball in the hands of Marty McGrath. And Marty McGrath's looking for support here, gives it over to his midfield colleague, who's Oren McGee. going to give that ball over to Ryan Morris, and Ryan Morris, as soon as he got the ball into his hands, got the hand up, called for his mark, gives it to Enda Ferris. Ferris was blocked down by Dara Keown, so Dara Keown's got got the first chance to get the ball off of Ferris in the second half. He wins a free, gives it to his midfield colleague, who is Michael McGarrigle. That one bounce in front of number 15, who is Michael Harn. It's gone through his fingers, picked up by the Ederney men, and now they're on the attack here again. That is number 10, who is Paul McKervey. McKervey was pulled back. He wins his free just on the midfield, and he's going to look back for support because he's found Enda Casty, and Enda Casty has Declan Deasley there as well in support of him too. Just checking the lineups in the second half, I see Erin Gaels are playing with a two-man inside forward line. They have Shane Rooney and Seamus Ryder seems to have come off at half time. They're probably trying to keep players fresh for the next game, because that is a two-man inside forward line for Belleek. That ball was dropped short now. It's Barry McCann who's breaking out here. He's got support from his fullback, who's Paul Wharton. Over there as well is Ben McCann. Ben McCann shifts the first tackle. He wins a free and he's given it to Michael McGarrigle. Running in front of us is Padraig Johnson, but McGarrigle breaks that first tackle, and now he's going forward, breaks inside the 45-metre line. Powerful running, gives it to Michael Harn. Harn bounces the ball, looking for support. He's given it to Oisín Callum. Callum looking for Rooney, spraying the ball out to that far side of the field. Rooney swinging it back onto the left foot, gives it plenty of air. It's probably going to drop short. There's two players from Belleek in there, but goalkeeper Chris Snow comes through them all to fist the ball out, and it has gone for a 45, which is going to give Belleek a chance to get their first score of the second half. It's a 45. It's been set up there, and Barry McCann looks like he's going to take it. It's towards the far side of the field, so it really doesn't shoot the right-footed kicker. He's going to have to bend the ball back in, which is going to put him under a bit of pressure, but we'll see how it goes. Just checking the flags. The wind seems to be blowing with Erin Gaels in the second half, so as McCann comes up, gives it plenty of height, but it was kept in, and has now been won by the Ederney defence. And Ederney are starting to break out here now. Both teams have brought on a couple of substitutes at half time, so we'll have to get a chance to take a look at that there. That's Jacob Britton, who gives it to Enda Casty. Conor McGee's there as well, and now it's going to Paul McKervey. McKervey turns around, shifts the ball on to Marty McGrath. McGrath's looking for a first time ball. It's probably a bit too much height on it, but that was number 4, who is Colm Keown. Colm Keown feels that well. He feels that ball well, calls for his mark, and releases Erin Gaels onto the attack. That was their full back, who is Paul Ward, who's given it to Shane Mimna, and Mimna back to the midfielder, who is Michael McGarrigle. Now it's into the hands of number 17, Oran Johnson, and Johnson fakes the pass to Mimna. He's given it over to Oisín Callum, and Callum looks like he's going to dink the ball in there. Number 21, who is Rory McGarrigle, was running for that there, but McGarrigle wasn't able to get it, and Ederney have tidied that ball up, and they're breaking out again, because it's Chris Snow who gives it to Enda Casty. And the Casty running forward powerfully. He's got 3 players in pursuit. He gets away from them all, gives it to Marty McGrath, who releases the ball back to Casty, and Casty, who started that run, gets the ball, kicks it in to Enda Ferris. Ferris was going for it with the centre half back for Belleek, who was Dara Keown. Keown gets his hand till it last, and it's been ruled a 45. So now referee Nigel Sweeney, it's about 3 or 4 metres to the left hand side of the post. Nigel Sweeney, see him standing there. It is going to be number 13, who is Ryan Morris, who's setting this up, going to be kicking into the wind, trying to get the first score of this second half. We'll have 5 minutes played, so this first score going to come from this scoring attempt from Ederney. It's coming from a 45-metre line, lines it up, gives it plenty of height, and it's looking pretty well. Well, he could have took another 10 steps back, because that had certainly got the distance, and that's gone over the bar. A score line now 3-8 to 1-7. Ederney are extending their lead. It is 7 points between the teams now. Three scores, which is Belleek have a lot to do in the second half if they're going to get back into the game. Maybe they might just look at the rest of this game as an opportunity to prepare their team for the championship, because they're after bringing on a sub who is number 18, Ronan Cox, and Ronan Cox came on for the corner back, who is Páirc Johnson. So Ronan Cox, with his chance, immediately calling for the ball. It's into the hands of the full back, who is Paul Ward, and Paul Ward, under pressure from Martin McGrath, holds on to that, gives it to Shane Mimna, and now Shane Mimna, with 2, 4, 6 Erin Gaels players, looks to break forward, but Ederney have set up a wall. They're playing with a 2-man inside forward line. That leaves everyone else back, and Conor McGee shifts a heavy challenge from Ronan Cox, and now it's into the hands onto that far side of the field of Declan Deasy. Deasy's going to have to run it because Ederney had a lot of their players back, and that pass was going to Paul McKervey. It's onto that far side of the field, and there was a bit of a mix up over there. It was probably a wee bit too complicated because Ederney had a bit more time, I'd say, than they would have thought. It's let Erin Gaels break into the 45 mid line. It's in the hands of Shane Rooney, who's got he has to skirt around the outside. He's got Michael Haren with him, feeds that over to the number 10, who is Martin Gilfeder, and Gilfeder with the right foot taking that shot. It comes back off the post, and it's going over there to number 5, who is Luke Haren. So Haren is able to pick that up. That was a bit unlucky from Erin Gaels. That was a good shot from Martin Gilfeder, but just at the last minute it tailed off, hit the post, and went out onto the far side of the field. As Ederney are building here now, it's number 10, Paul McKervey, who gives a wonderful one bounce in front of Enda Ferris, and Ferris gobbles that ball up, and he's given it, looks to try and feed his centre half forward colleague, who is Michael McCauley, but McCauley knocked out of his hands, and now Paul Ward puts the ball. Now Belleek are back onto the attack again. They've got a lot of players moving forward. That's Oisin Kelm, who's bouncing the ball. He was tackled, just got a hand in there. Declan Deasy, who's doing a lot of work back inside his own 45 metre line, putting pressure on Erne Gaels and closing down a lot of the space. I see Martin McGrath's back there as well. Quick interchange between Michael O'McGarrigle and Shane Mimna. Mimna goes forward, and it's number 21, who is, as we said, Gareth Deary, and Gareth Deary gets that ball up and gets it over the bar. So there we have the first score for Erin Gaels in the second half, 1-8 to 3-8, 6 points between the teams. I would think if Erin Gaels can get a period of dominance in and around midfield and put a bit of pressure on Ederney, they'll start to eat into that lead, but they're not going to do that because number 11, Mark McCauley, wins that kick out on the far side of the field. He puts the ball inside. He was fouled late, and that free, it's been blown. Referee Niall Sweeney has blown it for a free. It's in and around the 21 metre line, and it's going to be taken from the hands by, I think it was Paul McKervey, but Paul McKervey lines that up, and that's going over the bar. So that's a wonderful score from, it wasn't even Paul McKervey, it was a substitute for Ederney. It was kicked by Sean Cassidy. So Sean Cassidy backed himself to take that score, take it on, took the responsibility, got to give it plenty of height and put it over the bar. Brings our scoreline 1-8 to 3-9 with approaching 10 minutes played in the second half. It just, if Ederney are keeping the scoreboard ticking over, that's very hard for Belleek to get back into the game, and it's getting even harder when the ball's going forward and it's coming back out at the same speed. Shane Mimna's in there, he's under a lot of pressure. Martin McGrath certainly wasn't giving him an inch, but referee Nigel Sweeney, who was right on the action, thought that Martin McGrath was tackling Shane Mimna illegally, and it's been ruled as a free for Erin Gaels. 3 metres inside the 45 metre line, is Ronan Cox lining up to take this. Looks like he's going to take it on the right foot. He's probably straight in front of goal, so it's not going to suit to get an angle shot at this here, but here he comes to set it up, and he's going to go short. Shane Rooney's in there, certainly going to shoot the left forward kicker, but that ball is going to go very, very high. Not particularly accurate though, because it hasn't even gone wide. It's been broken out, and now Ederney are onto the attack there, looking to find number 20, who is Niall McGrath, but that ball was snuffed out. Now it's back to Ronan Cox again. Ronan Cox has got Páirc Johnson. He's got Páirc Padraig Johnson in support, and Johnson over here now going for Oisin Kellan. Barry McCann was there as well. Kellan, as he tried to catch that ball, it got knocked down and it was picked up by Conor McGee, who's got his colleague from the half forward line. That's Paul McCaffrey running well, keeps just tracking down this side of the field, turns back to his left foot, gives it plenty of height, but that has gone wide. And with the time just gone 10.5 minutes played, referee Nigel Sweeney is calling a halt to play as we have substitutes coming. With Michael McGarrigle in here on this side of the field here with Martin McGrath as his immediate opponent. McGarrigle gets inside Martin McGrath, who was eventually fouled. Referee next when he blows that as a free, and McGarrigle finds Ronan Cox, who come on in the second half, is giving it over there to number 22 Paul McCaffrey, and Paul McCaffrey has now given it to He's giving it to Oisín Kell. Michael Ogan McGarrigle is roaring for the ball here now, but Barry McCann's breaking forward. We've got a 2v1. McCann taking a shot, a low shot which has gone over the bar. He was probably looking to stun it into the net, but that just didn't happen. It didn't come back down again for him, so that has given Erin Gaels another point. 1-9 is 12 points, 3-10 is 22, so 10 points between the teams as we approach 15 minutes on the water break in the second half. Yeah. So the scoreline as we approach the water break is 1-9, which is 12, 3-10, which is 19, 9 points between the teams at the second half water break. would think because of that delay for. So folks, sorry for the sound problems we're having in here. We're just trying to get that resolved as best we can for this broadcast. It's the scoreline still reads 313 to 113, as I said, with 1 minute of additional time played. So apologies for those of you who are joining us back for that break in delay. We just had a point there from Shane Rooney, so hopefully you were able to see it on your screens. But whether the sound was off or not, those things can happen on a live broadcast, and that's the name of the game. So we'll bear with it. We have a player down here. I think that's Rory McGarrigle, so he's down with a bit of cramp. I wouldn't be a bit surprised because a lot of the players have covered a lot of ground, so I would well imagine that some of them would be starting to feel the effects of that there. So the ball, we're all waiting for this Belleek player to receive his attention. It's not even Rory McGarrigle, it'll be Michael McGarrigle who's down at the minute. So I see him starting to get back up onto his feet. He's possibly going to have to come off, and it's probably the best thing, because with only literally seconds left, we cannot afford to have an instance where, from the Belleek perspective, where you're going to have players getting injured. So as the play goes on ahead now, it's Dara Keown gives it to his colleague there. We have a player coming on for Michael McGarrigle, who was trudged off the field, and now it is into the hands of number 10, Martin Gilfeather. Got the early goal for Belleek, but then after that, Ederney were able to come back into it. Those 2 goals in that first half certainly made a difference. Now it's back to Gilfeather. Ederney coming out hunting in packs, and that shot was knocked down, and it's into the hands. Gareth Deary's in there. Ederney players are calling for support there, or calling for a free from referee Nathan Sweeney, and that was the number 21, who was Ryan McGrath, who got that ball there. Now it's Martin Bogle with support from Chris Snow and Michael Maguire, who's running away down this side he's like a horse on a gallop. And the linesman is blown that as a linesman has signalled that as a line ball for Belleek, and Belleek are onto the move now in that far side of the field. It is in the hands of Shane Mimna, who's still going and has been going all day for the past hour or so. He'd given it over to Oisin Kellam, who was, fair to say, he was dragged back by Finbar Gillen. It certainly tested the metal of the jersey, so there's good thread in Belleek, because there was under a lot of pressure there. So that's as a free in for Erne Gaels. It is 5 metres outside the 21 metre line, going to suit the left-footed kicker. So we had a couple of players and a bit of a coming together there, but referee Nigel Smith has got them apart. He's also blown that as that's a black card been issued for Finbar Gillen. So Finbar Gillen will not resume the rest. He'll more than likely not get back onto this field. I would be shocked if he does. That would mean there'd be 10 minutes extra time played. But Shane really lining this up on the left foot, puts that over the bar, brings the scoreline 313 to 114. It's eaten into the Ederney lead, but I would think time is getting very, very scarce. We've 34 minutes and approaching 35 minutes played, so that is 5 minutes overtime played. I would think this kick out could be it. I see referee Nigel Sweeney checking his watch, so Chris Snow lining this up. He's probably going to go long, and I see Nigel Sweeney with the whistle. He's going to let it play on. There's one more attack allowed, and that was Martin McGrath. That's the 3rd mark he has took in the second half. Really was fantastic, because there was 3 players around him, and he gives that ball into Marty Bogle, and Marty Bogle now going to take the shot. It's come back to number 21, who is Ryan McGrath, and Ryan McGrath bombing forward, takes that shot, gone wide, and with that, referee Nigel Sweeney blows the full-time whistle with 35 minutes and 35 and a half minutes played. We have the final whistle here coming to you from Belleek's home pitch, a final scoreline of 113 to 114 to 313, a victory for Ederney. They resumed the bit of momentum they had going they won their first couple of games, had a poor defeat to Derry Gonley, but they're back and really rocking and rolling here. That is our final broadcast before the championship, which is coming to you in 2 weeks' time. So for those of you who are subscribers, make sure to get your passes for those games. We have a very ambitious schedule of matches in front of us, and we look forward to talking to you then. But for today's broadcast, I'd like to thank the technical team who have helped us to get this across. It's nice to get around the different clubs in Fermanagh, and the final thing I would like to say is thank our sponsors for this broadcast. The broadcast today was sponsored by Monaghan Brothers, with a particular mention has to be given to ETC Biomed, who have sponsored the Division 1 and Division 2 leagues